I'm around that point where it's I'm noticing so many patterns that I often uh sort of fall myself into, where it's becoming more recognizable the more I do it. The thing about now having the time to do the stuff you want to do, it's like, well, how can I balance that out versus the world, right? And I've come to that conclusion, like, I don't think you shouldn't do things for the world. You shouldn't be anything that drives you, anything that you're willing to do. Don't put so much of what the world wants, and also don't push yourself to be someone you're not. You have to really embrace the ugly of what you're going to do at the very moment you start doing the thing. And you have to come to realize that no one knows what you're doing. Now, it's that sense where there's no one in this room, in this particular area, in this particular space, give or take, give you 5 minutes or 10, just sort of really trying to reel into that space of yours, that this is not theirs. This is not for anyone. This is for not my curiosity. This is my own space. This is where I do the craft, the work, the life that I put here. This is where I put myself in front instead of putting everything putting everyone in front of me. And also, no one knows who you are until you are fully equipped. When you're fully experienced, not fully equipped, but more like fully experienced on what you want to be known as, what you want to be described as, the way you want to feel, you have to give that space in order to make the time, in order to make the thing. You have to put it into a space. You have to give it time. And there's no pressure. That's the thing. I think when we all do the thing and let's say it doesn't work, it's not the fact it doesn't work, it's the fact that it's, of course, ugly, right? You're beginning to notice these patterns where, even though with this all consistency crap and, all this systematic, you have to realize you have to face the truth, and realizing that most people who do all this these creations, all these artists, these people who are professionals, you know they don't tell how much they've sort of you know failed, and we have to recognize those failures as well. We have to recognize that we're human and we're not anyone else, and we're not just you know we're not we don't belong in anyone's world but ourselves. We have to take care of our own observations instead of other people. That's why when we see other people, or sort of, people who've done so much of the work, we only see the outer image on what they have reflected. And that's when you do that, you don't realize how hard it is, right? And I feel like people fall into that sinkhole where we are approaching to that phase where we just stop doing the thing, and we give ourselves so much pressure that the world is going to be on our shoulders. That's why, just to tell you that no one knows what you're doing, and don't tell me about it. Don't tell me about what you're gonna do. Don't tell me about how it's going to work. No one knows. No one knows how much work you're gonna do, how many times you're gonna fail. You only know up to the extent until you've actually experienced that. Having said that, I don't want you to come to me with just a few failures. I want more failures and more experiences from your vision, and not other people you have that you say that's yourself. And I feel convicted of that because these several, I guess, weeks has been just trying to upload a video that that sort of matches that level of expertise. I'm not an expert, but realizing that I'm not, and that there's so many interesting things about what makes me human and what makes me suck at this, right? I just go back for that first video that it is ugly, but it is me, you know? And the message too, that no one knows what you're doing, is that no one knows what you're doing until you put the work in. No one knows what you're doing, so let it be. No one knows what you're doing, so let it happen. There's no judgment in your own space. There's no confliction. This is you realizing what it feels to give yourself some space.